Hello, welcome to the channel, ladies and gentlemen. Quickish video, I guess, today. Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness is undergoing significant reshoots. Now, normally we hear this and we go, that's fine, it's not really a big deal. Because it's not. Reshoots happen all the bloody time. This is 6 weeks of reshoots with main lead and cast members undergoing 6 days a week. That's a lot. 6 weeks, 6 days a week. That's basically half a movie. That is a lot of reshooting. Not a small amount. That is a lot. Average principal photography can last 12 weeks. And they'd be doing a similar, schedule of shooting. So 6 days for 6 weeks. Wow. That's a lot. Now, obviously, we don't know. But it comes from a relatively good source, The Hollywood Reporter. So, not a terrible source. Not your average, layabout loser that's just pulling sources out their bumhole. This is, alright for sources. Pretty legit. So let's dive into it, okay? The Hollywood Reporter has learned that Marvel Studios' highly anticipated Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness is currently undergoing another significant schedule of filming in LA. What is being described as both additional photography and reshoots. So normally you would just have like additional photography scheduled into a shoot anyway. It's really standard. It's not a lot. 6 weeks is a lot. Wow. FYI, like weird lighting exposure. Apologies. Why is it being labelled as significant? Well, they've confirmed that leading man Benedict Cumberbatch and a few select cast members will be involved with at least 6 weeks of shooting, at least, possibly more, and will be working 6 days a week until the end of the calendar year. That's loads. That is loads. Spider-Man trilogy director Sam Raimi remains at the helm of the massive multiversal adventure, with screenwriter Michael Waldron also involved, scripting new material. It sort of sounds like Marvel are really concerned with like bits and pieces that have come out, and they're trying to reshape things moving forwards. That's all I can imagine this is. They've had a bunch of movies released. They haven't done very well, all things considered. And they're like, right, shit. We need to sort this out. I'm guessing. Or it was always doomed from the start. They got a finished cut together and was like, no, this is horrendous. Sort it out. The crew recently completed additional photography on both Tom Holland's Spider-Man No Way Home and Oscar Isaac's Moon Knight. So they're already quite familiar with how Marvel Studios likes to work, which should make the next month and a half a little less daunting. Who cares about that? The fact that it's 6 weeks, 6 days a week at least. That's loads. That is loads. There are some conflicting reports, however, about the actual severity of the reshoots, with some insiders suggesting that these were always scheduled in advance. Even while in the middle of production, Marvel is scheduling you for more shooting. I think that's probably Marvel apologists. Standard reshoots are always standard. But 6 weeks, 6 days a week, at least, that's quite a lot. That is genuinely significant. It's not a small amount. And they're not even the biggest round of reshoots the studio's ever pulled off. We've had bigger reshoots on other MCU movies. Who cares if there's been bigger reshoots on other MCU movies? That's like saying, well, I mean, that doesn't make it any less potentially troubling for the production, does it? Or, like, it's not a competition. Put your willy away, mate. It's not a dick measuring contest on how many reshoots you can have. Like, just to say, well, we've had more, doesn't that what? That doesn't make it a good thing, you idiot. That's baffling to me. What a ridiculous rebuttal. Well, we've had worse. Like, okay, cool, yeah, good, I guess. Good for you. However, others are more skeptical about Marvel Studios' claims, saying they're here until the end of the year. That's like a whole other movie. Yeah, I mean, it's basic. It's a half a movie. At least 6 weeks is half a movie. It's not a small amount. That is a ton of material. On the bright side, the reshoots don't seem to be because of anything story related. Apparently, about 2 weeks will actually be spent finishing portions that weren't completed during principal photography earlier this year due to the actor availability issues, while the remaining portion will be to catch up on everything they had to delay when the film was forced into a lengthy production shutdown in the UK due to COVID-related complications. There wasn't actually that many in the UK. We were able to shoot here. That's odd. We were able to shoot here photography-wise whilst other countries were shutting down completely. The cast and crew remain optimistic, saying there is a pervasive enthusiasm, and it's believed that despite everything, it's still comfortably to be ready for its May release date. That would be cutting it fine. That would be a lot of the studio houses getting works already underway by the looks of it then. Plot details, of course. Look, at the end of the day, right, is this good or is this bad? Doing that much on reshoots, that is never really a good thing. A couple weeks here and there, yeah, fine. That's really... And I'm one of these people that always comes out and says, look, reshoots are standard. Because they are standard. But that's normally in the 2 to 3 week range. 6 weeks, at least, is a lot. Now, obviously, you know, they do try and say, well, look, you know... a lot of it's not story related. It's the finished portions that weren't completed. But, I mean, that's not... That's like take it with a pinch of salt situation. You have to believe them for that. And, of course, they will be trying to mitigate any of the potential PR concern coming out surrounding this. So, look, I mean, at the end of the day, I don't think this is massively great. But I'm not going to sit here and say, oh, this is absolutely atrocious. It's so, so bad. I do think that this has an air of Marvel scrambling to try and fix some bits and pieces of their universe, or at the very least, like at the very least, set things up moving forwards, right? You know, setting stuff up for the future, because they do seem to be middling, or at the very least, the hype seems to be dying down a little bit. I know there'll be people that jump in and go, "Oh, you're talking bollocks," but there does seem to be an air of fatigue. There does seem to be. Or at the very least, not even necessarily fatigue, but criticism being levied against them. You know, the standards are getting higher now, basically. People just don't want random shit being released. They want the standards to be a bit higher. And I guess that's, case in point, that's why Eternals wasn't, you know, universally loved like they hoped it would. Because the standards are now higher. People want something better out of their movie product. It's not necessarily the worst movie in the MCU, but it's rated the worst, and that's because standards have gone up. So I think this is I think this is a part of that, but I could be wrong. And obviously, if it is wrong, if I am wrong, I'll do a video. I'll tell you. It is what it is, though. Significant reshoots. Is the Marvel Universe in trouble? You let me know your thoughts down below. As always, I absolutely adore you guys. You are fantastic. I love you. Turning up here, watching my videos every single day. Really do appreciate it. So thank you so much. If you are new here, do hit subscribe. I love you as well. Thank you all so much. Take care.